At this point, it's a pleasure to introduce Ganesh Natarajan, Managing Director for Enuit. He heads up their European operations out of London. Previously, Ganesh was the global head of pre-sales at Brady, and prior to that was a senior manager in PwC's commodity management team. He's got more than 20 years of experience in managing complex business and IT transformations and large projects with a successful track record of strategy, consulting, product management, system selection, and implementation of CTRM, ETRM systems. So with that, it's a pleasure to bring on Ganesh. How are you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Howard. Really a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure, and we're really looking forward to your presentation. So without further ado, I'll just turn the floor over, I guess it's this direction, to you, and we can get started.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Howard and the team. I'm here to share some of my thoughts on the ETRM trends and the evolution of risk systems as a topic. I think it's a very interesting topic, which is very close to my heart. I'm specializing in this domain. I'm sure everybody in this meeting or everybody in this webinar is actually keen to know what's happening in the marketplace and stuff. So it's a privilege to share my findings and what we are seeing from an Enuit standpoint in the marketplace. So before I jump in, I want to quickly talk about who we are as Enuit. Enuit is a leading ETRM and a CTRM vendor in the marketplace. We are headquartered in Houston, but we are also globally located across multiple locations. So I head up the European operations based out of London, and we also have our offices spanning across Singapore, Shanghai, Tokyo, and Beijing. And recently, we also added one of our additional capabilities in India to support Asia-Pacific growth and strengthen further the Indian operations. With that in mind, I would like to quickly jump into recent recognitions we had as a business. As Enuit, we have been proud to say that Risk.net actually chose us as a leading CTRM energy risk software winner of the year of 2020. That comes with a lot of experience and a lot of hard work which has got into the product. And I'm going to be quickly jumping into the key topic which everybody is interested in talking about what is the technical trends, what is people are looking for to buy, and what is all the vendors are currently doing, including Enuit, in the marketplace to actually meet that demand from the different customers and the prospects. Without any further ado, I will jump into the next part. So I would like to actually paint a small picture about for anybody who is actually in the process of knowing why a particular a commodity trading company or a financial institution who is actually operating on a physical commodity or a financial commodity is looking for a system. And when they're actually trying to buy and implement a system, what are they looking for, right? So this is basically more of a summary of what we have been learned from the marketplace based on different sales pitches, different implementations, what actually goes behind the scene. I just want to give a 30-second update on what is this. So if I have to really, take a step back and look at the key decision criteria, it is always a balance of these 5 parameters. So as a prospect or as a client or as a commodity trading company, you're always worried about how can a particular solution can meet my requirements, which is basically, I call it as a business fit. Is my solution fit for purpose for my running my business? The second question you're going to be always asking is, what's my ease of implementation? So how complex or how simple is it to roll out a new functionality? So how fast I can get this done? If there is a gap in the solution, what can the vendor can do without actually increasing the cost of my implementation? How easy is to implement new changes, or how easy to implement the software? The third thing which we're going to deep down is a solution architecture, right? Down the line, 10 years, a decade ago, I think the price and the delivery timelines and the cost of ownership was actually taking a predominantly dominating the overall system selection and the implementation aspects. But in the last couple of years, I would just say each of these elements, including how technically and how architecturally a solution is fit for purpose, is very, very keen for the buyer. So people are very much more informed. People are asking the right questions about the quality of the technical solutions. So we are going to jump into it in the next slide, but that's one of the elements I want to anchor upon. And always, cost dimension. So what is my total cost of implementing the software? What's a recurrent cost? What's a OPEX, CAPEX, etc.? It's always been there, right? And the recent times where you have seen a large implementation going on for multi-years, those kind of implementations, I have to say, is becoming lesser and lesser relevant right now in the marketplace. People want agility, people want speed. So people are ready to actually choose a solution which can be implemented faster, which can be easily implemented in a which agile fashion, and it's not very rigid to actually roll it out continuously. So those are all the 5 decision factors we are going to be talking about. I'm going to be deep diving about the solution architecture and jump into what is the market is looking for. So since we talked about what people are looking to buy when they're looking to find these 5 criteria, it's also very important to understand what are the market and clients continue to demand from our ETRM tech providers like Enuit or anybody one of our competitors, right? I've just listed a couple of parameters down here, and I'm going to talk them through it. I'm happy to take any questions after that. But what I would like to say here is people are looking for truly a multi-commodity solution. So Enuit is uniquely positioned in that, where when you're looking for a gas trading system or when you're looking for an oil trading system or LNG trading system, there used to be a time where people actually go back and bought their specialized systems in that one commodity and have a bit of a distributed trading landscape. Now, I don't think that is no more applicable. So people are looking for a vendor with a lot of core IP maturity, can bring in the most broadest and the deepest CTRM and ETRM functionalities with strong analytical capabilities. So people want more for less. That's kind of a trend. The second trend we are seeing is how integration and automation can play, right? Because there used to be time where people are okay with having a monolithic solution. Now it's no more. People are saying no to the monolithic solution, and they want fast accelerators. They want automation and integration seamlessly to the external market venues or their internal systems. So which means you need to offer a lot of flexibility and scalability in your product to actually demand. So there used to be time where people actually want to talk about their IT and trading landscape, where they actually say, oh, okay, I'm going to buy a new ETRM replacement, and then what will happen to my investments I've made to my IT assets? Right now, um, nobody want to throw away their existing IT assets or the investment or the legacy systems they built. They want a system which is purely connected or can connect with them so that they can get the best return of investment for their existing landscape as well as return of investment from the new system or a new technology they're rolling out. The number 4 is very, very important. You can actually see commodities trading market and the ETRM energy trading market space is actually being consolidated. There's a lot of acquisitions and mergers or continue to happen. One of the key things which clients are always looking for is, do I actually am I in the right process of selecting a vendor with a clear roadmap who can actually keep my clients relevant, competitive, and then cost effective? If there is no roadmap, there is no point in actually choosing a vendor, how much ever the great technology the person has got, right? And then standardization. So what I mean by that is people are almost looking for an OPEX or a ongoing support cost which is reduced, which means people are looking to buy a product which is standardized, and it's actually tried to have one version of the code base to the extent possible so that people can actually get new releases, new upgrades, and supportability becomes very, very easy for the vendor as well as for the clients. And then last but not the least, agile is the new normal. People want to roll out new technologies because market is not going to wait for anybody. So to roll out new capabilities in your system or to support your trading business or your commodity physical supply chain business, you need to have a flexible technology and an architecture so that your new changes does not cost you time in terms of rolling it out, so that you don't lose to miss out an opportunity. 2, it doesn't have to be expensive to roll out new capabilities from your core product perspective. So in short, what is the market and clients are looking for from ETRM tech providers? People are looking for a very open and flexible architecture, and people are looking for systems to be connected rather than actually being, oh, Ganesh, I'm actually buying an ETRM system from you, and what is the cost of integrating to my financial systems? What's my cost of integrating to my market data system? How connected and how open are you is the core key thing, which is people are looking at it. And then they were looking for out of the box configuration rather than a lot more coding and development effort needed. And as always, people who want everything faster and quicker, they would like to look for a solution which is quick to implement, easy to support. And last but not the least, if there is an organization which actually has got a bit of a rigid process in terms of release management and actually cannot upgrade very faster, they would love to have solution which is actually compatible with between releases so that their testing effort, ongoing rollout become much, much easier for them, right? So those are all the actual demands which market and client is putting on ETRM tech providers like us. But I think those are all reasonable demands. And then I think as a system vendor, we should be able to respond to those demands because those are all the new way of looking at a trading platform. So what are ETRM tech providers doing, right? If I have to point you to the diagram on the right hand side, if I have to take a bit more current typical architecture of an ETRM system, which is basically, yeah, you can calculate risk and exposure. You have a trade capture as a modules, you have a scheduling as a module, or your actualization as a module, and you'll always have your general ledger and accounting. All of these are standalone independent modules built over a period of time, but not connected to each other, right? So I think I just want to spend some time about the openness and connectedness here too. The new way of doing is ETRM tech providers have to definitely break the paradigm. What I mean by that is they got to move into the cloud-based microservices or component architecture. What I mean by that is nobody is currently looking for an on-premise installation, unless if you are an organization which is very, very rigid and you do not believe in a cloud-based or a cloud-based architecture. I think, personally, I've not seen anybody coming in and asking for an on-premise installation in the last easily for 3 to 4 years minimum within Enuit or outside my time with Enuit. And then people are looking for enhanced DevOps capabilities. What I mean by that is easier rollout, automation, and reduction of testing, which means like if a customer after the go live want to ask you for a new change or a new technology, and they would like to actually have a smart way of looking at things, and then they want to actually have a DevOps or development operations, which means an easy rollout of the new functionalities. And rather than deal capture being, deal capture is deal capture, right? So if your system cannot even capture deals, there's no point in calling it as a deal capture. So people want to actually convert the data into insights. What I mean by that is CTRM or ETRM is no more a defensive spend. It's more of a decision support tool and optimization tool, right? I have all my trade data. I would like all my physical logistical data within the system. How can I actually use the value of my data to make good decisions? And how can I actually optimize my trading operations by taking the value of the data? It's no more a deal capture or a data capture platforms. It's more of a decision support and optimization platform. And every ETRM vendor is forced to think like that, including Enuit. And then we are also already thinking and making good changes around what we are supposed to do with the decision support. One of the things which is very, very interesting in the last couple of years is every one of us, or we are hearing people are going to digital transformation. There is a difference between what digital transformation means to every organization or every person who is actually talking about it. But one of the core things about digitally transforming an organization is your enterprise systems like your ETRM systems or your financial systems or any other system which you rely on to run your day-to-day business have to support collaboration and connectedness. What I mean by that is I've worked in some systems before where it's very, very close, which means that the data once goes in, you can't get it out, which means that I will not be able to orchestrate the value of my ETRM system or my business system to support my entire value chain of my trading operations. So collaboration and connectedness from your platform, which means that how much data you can extract in and out of the system, how much data you can actually provide to the other legacy systems or other outside systems without a lot more changes via APIs is a super key. And that's pretty much is what the future of ETRM looks like right now. Then technology adoption. Nobody want to go back into the marketplace and saying, hey, Ganesh, are you updating a new technology? Not really. People don't buy products for technology, but people buy products for technology, which makes sense to the business. So clients are always looking for systems that can easily support the new technologies like automation, AI, machine learning, and blockchain. For example, blockchain is predominantly, socialized around the trading space, especially around settlements. And people are trying to talk about, automated trading is moving towards AI-based trading, and then machine learning is all about learning your patterns of data. And then that's a next step of evolution from decision support from data towards what can I learn from what I have done in the past. So people are actually trying to look for new ways of capitalizing the data, capitalizing the IT spend they have done on a systems like an ETRM system. And then last but not the least, to support collaboration and connectedness, it's very, very important to actually have open and accessible data sets. What I mean by that is you should be able to look into your risk numbers. You should be able to look at your settlement numbers. You should be able to move that numbers out of the core ETRM system. And if you have a bit more different data-driven architecture, if you have a data lake or anything else, you should be able to actually take those data easily out of an ETRM system and then move it around within your enterprise so that you can actually have a connected view of everything which is happening, right? Between your trading operations, supply chain, procurement, finance, you can connect all the dots by actually, if the systems are actually open enough and can actually provide the right data sets to navigate the data around your landscape. These are all the trends which I personally see where when I'm writing and working on an RFP or a sales process or in a demo, people are always coming back and looking for what you have, how can you connect with my landscape, how can you open up your platform more, and having a very key architectural and very key technology roadmap behind your product apart from your business capabilities is the key for any ETRM or a CTRM tech provider to actually um, thrive in this marketplace, which is very, very demanding, as we can imagine. With that in mind, I think that's pretty much is what I want to share with this group. Happy to take any questions I have.
Wonderful, Ganesh. That was a really good presentation, a really good outline of the thought process of how people select their technologies and why they select their technologies. You touched a bit on things like blockchain and machine learning and things of that nature. A little bit more specifically, how do technologies like machine learning and blockchain, how are they relevant to ETRM technology?
Right. So that's a great question, right? So to pick it up, right? So a few years before all of these blockchain or machine learning or artificial intelligence was being treated as a buzzword. Hey, we don't know. But right now, if you look back into the commodity trading space, you can actually see a lot of commodity trading players are actually working together in terms of actually settling the trades via blockchain platforms. It could be anything else from settlement, hyperledger integration. Blockchain is very much a live use case, especially around the settlements and other side. And we are also seeing blockchain adoption predominantly in the physical commodity space where people are moving goods. If you're in a warehousing business or if you're actually supplying your materials, metals or LNG across a port or a warehousing, people are actually trying to track your logistical movement using blockchain and other technologies. And especially technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence are absolutely critical when you want to really look at the pattern of your trades, look at what you can learn from your, if you're currently looking with 10 or 20 vendors who is supporting your logistical operations, you can actually look at the data and then say, great, this vendor always gives me a better quote, better value. You can actually write some good automated programs and use these technologies to always recommend you rather than a system being very reactive. It can become very, very predictive. So it can actually tell you, please choose this particular logistical provider if you want to move the material from point A to point B, because he always given you a historical quote of last 12 to 18 months. So that way, the system actually could be much more, or the solution could be actually much more predictive and suggestive rather than actually be reactive. So the technologies are actually in action, and we do see a lot of energy companies, oil companies are really driving the digital strategy and their new technology adoption by tying them to the real business use case. It's no more buzzwords right now. Howard.
That makes a lot of sense,
That's
and I do remember back, when more of the earlier days of blockchain, it really was a solution. It was a technology looking for a purpose, and I think they've found, like you said, found some around settlements and
correct.
things like that, where you're getting rid of a lot of manual processes.
That's correct.
You mentioned that that digital transformation means a little bit something different to everybody, but how does a customer's overall digital transformation, how can it be aligned with the target trading architecture, and how can it be aligned with ETRM tech providers?
So it's a very interesting question, right? So we actually come across a lot of customers who are trying to do digital transformation. It could mean that somebody is actually trying to, it could be as simple as, Ganesh, I'm just integrating my documentation workflows, or I'm trying to integrate my electronic capabilities, digital signature workflows because of the remote working due to COVID, right? It could be as simple as that, or actually someone really going through a proper blueprint of digital transformation. The key thing for any ETRM vendor to support the customers or the prospects who are going through the digital transformation journey is, A, is the if I'm on the buying side, if I'm a prospect or a customer who is trying to work with Enuit or any of our competitors, I would ask a simple question, right? Am I choosing a system which actually fits into my blueprint, right? And I will have a very clear set of criteria what the blueprint look like, which means connectedness. Is the architecture is sound enough for me to actually take the data out easily and then navigate and support my workflows? Number two is the vendor technology or the vendor roadmap is aligned towards my digital blueprint. Basically, I want to actually do contract management workflows. Tomorrow, I want to automate my settlements using blockchain, right? If I'm going in the direction, but the vendor roadmap is not aligned with that direction, then I won't be going and choosing that particular ETRM vendor, because he's basically looking at the product from a sorry to use the word, but a narrow mindset, but he's not looking at my overall broad perspective. I think aligning a customer roadmap to always to a product vendor roadmap, it's very easy to say it can be, it should be done, but it's very difficult. But at the same time, it is not too difficult not to align your technology roadmap or your product roadmap towards a customer or a prospect's roadmap. Once you have that real synergies identified about where you're trying to automate, and the system currently you are going to choose or currently have has got the right capabilities to support your digital transformation journey, then the roadmap alignment will automatically evolve, Howard. It is not too difficult. It just needs a bit of a thinking. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Ganesh, thank you. And we're going to get into a lot more depth about topics like this one at next month's Energy Trading Technology Summit, which Enuit are gold sponsors of as well. So once again, thank you for being part of this. Thank you for all your contributions, and we really appreciate this talk, and we look forward to picking it up in a little bit more depth.
Absolutely.
In about a month.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Howard. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're very, very welcome. All right, we're ready to move on to the next topic.